Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to section 6.2. We're dealing with a lot of the same material that we're doing now, or that we dealt with 6.1 with geometric sequences. Now we're going to learn how to write those geometric sequences into exponential equations. So if you take a look here, here's the vocab, or how we are going to write our exponential equation. And make sure you get the material written down here as far as what each part means. Okay, so we're going to start off with a table very similar to what we had the other day, and we're going to first figure out, okay, what's the constant multiplier for this table, and how would we write this as a recursive routine? Okay, so if we remember recursive routines from last semester, we're going to have start at blank. This time it's going to be and multiply by blank. So here our start at value is going to be 27, and if we continue working through here, if we take 36 and divide it by 27, we get 1.33 repeating. But instead of writing that, because it's really hard to reduplicate that as a decimal in our calculator all the time, we're going to write it as 4/3. Okay, and so our multiplication step here is multiply by 4/3. All right. So now the question is, how do I find, let's say, what's the we got fifth term. So here, we start at 0, so we start with 27, and if we write this out, it's going to be, we're going to multiply it by 4/3, that gives us term 1. We multiply it again by 4/3, that gives us term 2. We multiply it again by 4/3, that gives us term 3. We do it again for term 4, and we do it again for term 5. So to find the fifth term, we would type, essentially we'd type all of this in to our calculator, and we'd end up with an answer of 113.77 repeating. Okay, but now we have a better way to write this. Okay, instead of writing this 4/3 out all the time and typing that all into your calculator, we can write it as an equation. So we have y equals, because that's our final answer. We start with our start at value, 27. Our constant multiplier was 4/3. And then to find our fifth term, we would type it into our calculator as an exponential 5. So to type that into your calculator, that would be the caret button. So a thing that looks like a roof house, and then by 5. Okay, and so in your calculator, this is what it would look like: 27, 4 divided by 3, caret 5, and we would still end up with 113.77 repeating. Okay, so now if we take a look here at these next two examples, all right, we've got 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. How would we write that? We'd start off with y equals, we'd have 5, and if we notice that it's always 5 repeating, so we don't have to do the 5 parentheses 5 and then count however many there are. We just count how many 5s there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 5 to the 5th power, and it would look like that. We'd have a big 5 with a little 5 below or above it. All right, and then this is kind of what we had in section 6.1. We're going to start at 200, so y equals 200. If we have a 5% increase, remember that is 1.05, becomes our constant multiplier. The 8th term, we would write that as an exponent up, 8 up top. Okay, and you may ask to write those out as far as answers go. Otherwise, you may be asked just to, to write it out as an equation. So that's what we've got going on with section 6.2. It's all about being able to write exponential equations for us. If you have any other further questions, make sure you let me know, and have a good day.